Hello students, today we will study about Kohlrausch law. Yesterday we studied that it was difficult to calculate out the molar conductivity of the weak electrolytes just by extrapolating the graph of molar conductivity versus root C. So the scientist Kohlrausch, he studied about the molar conductivities of the strong and the weak electrolytes, and then he concluded his law for the weak electrolytes, and the law was the molar conductivity at infinite dilution of an electrolyte. The molar conductivity at infinite dilution for an electrolyte, here he talked about any of the electrolytes whether strong or weak, it is equal to the sum of the molar conductances of its cations and anions. Obviously, if we are talking about the molar conductivity, means the substance which can easily dissociated into its cations and anions, with each conductance term multiplied by the number of the respective ions present in the formula unit of the electrolyte. This I'll tell here. Like suppose HCl is there. For HCl, if we talk about the molar conductance of HCl at infinite dilution, HCl, it can be dissociated into H plus and Cl minus ions. So here we'll take the molar conductances of both the ions, cation and anion, present in it. So its molar conductance at infinite dilution here for H plus molar conductance at infinite dilution for Cl minus. If BaCl2 is there, see this part here, with the each conductance term multiplied by the number of the respective ion present in the formula unit mass. Here in this formula, two chlorine atoms are present. It means when we'll write this, that molar conductance of Ba plus 2 plus two molecules or two ions of this molar conductance of Cl minus. Here we'll put 2 because two chloride ions are present over here. Similarly, take this example of Al2SO4 whole thrice. Here in this formula unit mass, aluminium, two atoms are here or two ions of aluminium present here. So we'll put 2 here before this molar conductance of aluminium and 3 before the molar conductance of sulfate ion. Like this we'll write the molar conductances. So the application of Kohlrausch law we'll study. Today we'll study the first application only, and that is the determination of the molar conductance for weak electrolytes. As I've told you earlier also, that it was difficult just by extrapolating the graph of molar conductivity and root C to calculate out the molar conductivity of the weak electrolytes. So for this, Kohlrausch, he studied about all the things and about the weak and the strong electrolytes both, and then he told the way to find out the or to determine the conductance of the weak electrolyte, molar conductance. So here first question is there, like ionic conductance at infinite dilution of aluminum ion and sulfate ion. Suppose they are 189 ohm inverse centimeter square mole inverse, and for sulfate ion it is 160. So here we have to calculate the molar conductance of Al2SO4 whole thrice. We know that according to Kohlrausch law, the molar conductivity of Al2SO4 whole thrice, it is equals to, see here, 2 ions are present, so we'll put 2 here before the molar conductivity or molar conductance of aluminum ion, plus 3 into molar conductivity of sulfate ion. 2 into 189 it is given to us, plus 3 into 160, and then we'll calculate. This was the simple method where the molar conductance of both the ions are given. Suppose the molar conductances are not given, then what will we do? Here we'll discuss. See, the value of molar conductivity for HCl is given to us, NaCl is given to us, and CH3COO Na. 3 molar conductances are given to us. respectively, and we have to calculate the value of molar conductivity for acetic acid only. Acetic acid, it is not given here. We have been given 3 electrolytes, and remember, this we can calculate only when all these 3 electrolytes which are given to us are strong electrolytes. Then only we can calculate it by using this method. Okay, so according to Colroche law, we know that molar conductivity of HCl, it is equals to conductivity of H plus molar conductivity of Cl minus. If we talk about CH3CONa, it is molar conductivity of acetate ion plus molar conductivity of Na plus. For NaCl, it is molar conductivity of Na plus and molar conductivity of Cl minus. See, if we talk about these molar conductivities, what we are needing is, we have to calculate it for acetic acid, that is CH3COOH. It means we are needing CH3COOH. This we are needing. It means what we have to remove from here is Cl, Cl, Na, Na. It means we have to remove NaCl from here, and the rest will be the molar conductivity of acetic acid. So here it means if we'll add this and this and subtract this equation from these two, we'll get CH3COH. See here how molar conductivity of HCl plus molar conductivity of CH3CONa minus molar conductivity of, at infinite dilution, NaCl. So here we'll elaborate all this, means these molar conductivities we'll write here. See, negative sign is here, Na plus minus Cl minus. Okay, these two will become negative. If these two are negative, means this negative and this positive, it will cancel out, and this negative and this will be cancelled out. It means we will be left with this molar conductivity at infinite dilution of H plus plus molar conductivity at infinite dilution of CH3CO minus, that is molar conductivity of CH3COH. So here we'll add the molar conductivities of the first and the second, and then we will deduct the molar conductivity of the third one, that is NaCl. And this is how we can calculate the molar conductivities of the weak electrolytes if its molar conductances are not given, like of acetate ion and H plus ion. If it is not given, then we can calculate it by using the molar conductivities of the strong electrolytes. Thank you.